Hello, my friends. How are you? Happy Monday. I hope everything is going well for you. It's been a great day here today. Lots going on. Um, I don't want to chit chat a whole lot of time, but I want to tell you a couple of important things before we get down to making our card. And the first thing is I wanted to talk a little bit about me. I know, favorite topic. Not really. I'm not your typical demonstrator in that my goal, of course, I want to sell product. That would be silly. But I don't want you to just collect product. I really don't. And if I don't think you need something, I will tell you that you don't need it. Those of you that have been with me for years will know I'm not the biggest, I'm an enabler. Hey, Shannon, I will show you cool stuff. But, if you decide it's not for you and you want to use what you have, that's okay. So I've been thinking about, other demonstrators offer and I've done it too in the past where I've done like a monthly card club and you have to buy product and you have to get it. That's the only way you can get it. Or you buy it and you get a kit with all these little pieces cut. And if you don't make the kit, you end up with an envelope in your closet that you never put together. I have those. So I'm sure that you do too. So what I've decided is to be a little bit different. Hey, Lana, after the last 2.5 years, a lot of us bought a lot of stuff. We did, because what else could we do? And we have a lot of stuff in our closet. So what I've decided is what my strength is. And my strength is teaching. That's what my background is in. That's what I'm good at. So I've decided that I will be sharing my membership with you where all of my classes are. You don't get supplies, you just get me. You get ideas. Let me take you there. You get ideas, you get instruction, you get tutorials, you get PDFs, you get it all. I show them to you here on Facebook, on my YouTube channel, in our Facebook group. But to get all the instructions, you need to be on the inside. You can guess, you can watch me do it and you can figure out, I tell you the sizes when I do it. All right, so you're gonna go simple, easy, karamiller.com, right? And then when you get here, you're gonna say, let's make cards membership. I kept it simple, no fancy names, nothing crazy, and you click on that. And when you get in there, you will see what this is all about. It's a monthly membership. All this stuff gets added over throughout the month. So it's not like a one-time deal. It's not like if you're busy on Thursday and we had a Zoom and you miss it, no worries. It's not just live events. Everything is in there. So you will get minimally, and those of you that have been in memberships with me before know I get carried away and I always put more stuff in. It's kind of like the Christmas stocking. I start out with it's going to be this and then I've added 17 things. So this is what you're going to get. There's me. And this kind of gives you an idea of what it is, and really more and more and more is being added. But when you click on, for example, this is how I talk to you about how to create your card. Now, this is not a secret. I've already shown it to you. You won't be able to see it now because I'm not logged in as a student. But I will post more of this in the Facebook group. I don't want to yap the whole time. I want you to see what we're doing tonight. But I wanted you to know that's what's available. I'm not necessarily going to offer a card club where you have to buy things and you have to agree to spend, $30 on supplies and then you're not sure that you wanted it. So, I wanted to show you just one more thing quick. Let me go back where we were. When you get here, if I hadn't clicked on that, it would have been easier to see. You keep scrolling down. This is how you do it. This is how you get in. Hey, Jeanette. You click on here. It's $20 a month. You can cancel anytime you want. You have access to it as long as you pay, kind of like renting a movie. But you can download anything. So seriously, if money's an object for you, you could join for 1 month. This is the option to join for 1 month, download everything, and then say bye. It's okay. You can do that. It's not like the Cricut membership that the stuff will disappear once you're not paying. You pay, You download, it's yours. Everything is downloadable and figure outable. Okay? So that's what's new with me. It's right there. Super easy to find. Just karamiller.com. Click on card making membership and you'll be in to look at it. You can look at all the details and see what you think. If you just want to give it a try, just do it for 1 month. It is literally a month. So I know we're in the last week of September. You're not just going to get the next 3 days. You're going to get a whole 30 days before it says, okay, bye-bye. All right, so you'll get to the last week in October. All right, cool. Okay, so tonight I've been trying to not necessarily say, okay, whoops, another new stamp set, you got to go get one. Let's use what we got. And I started with 2 weeks ago, the Happier Than Happy stamp set, and told you this is the reason I came back to Stampin' Up, because I thought this bear was the cutest thing I'd ever seen. I love him. I love the font. This simple stamp set just makes me happy, or happier than happy. Okay? All right, so this is the one we're using again tonight. We're using the bundle, and I'm also using the coordinating paper, which is Happy Forest Friends, I think. It's Forest something. But we're using, oh wait, I can tell you. The paper's right here. Happy Forest Friends. You got it. You didn't trust yourself. And then on another note, on Wednesday, in my my YouTube at lunch, we took a card from the catalog, the annual catalog, and we turned it into a card using our own stamp set that I had. And this was the Apple Harvest bundle. So those are the only 2 bundles I've used so far in September. Apple Harvest bundle and Happier Than Happy. Now, if you join the membership, if you start watching these kinds of things, you'll see where you could use a different stamp set and still be happy or happier. All right, so tonight, this is going to be our Pinspiration, and we're going to make our own card, which came from another card. So we started here, and we went here, and now we're going here, all with the same general idea. Okay, so first things first, these are the supplies that I'm using. This kind of gives you an idea, but I decided I wasn't going to finish it. I wanted to do it with you. All right, so let's put him up there. We are going to start with our card base. Our card base, you need your trimmer. Most of these you're going to need a trimmer just to give you all the things that you need. And it's 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to pop this in here, and I'm going to cut this at 5.5. All right, make sure I've pushed it tight against the top. The dark one is the one that cuts. And then I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm going to go at 4.25. Right? And then the lighter one is the scoring blade. It's not really a blade, it's just a little thingy. That's super sharp and will cut you. Don't try and touch it. Okay, so now I have my card base, right? The next thing I want is, again, this is in the membership, but remember how we talked about how to prepare your own little card kit? You take your pattern paper and you cut it, and then you have this to work with. I'm still working off what I did 2 weeks ago when I cut this, and I'm still using that same paper. It's the perfect size. So I'm going to go with the mushrooms, and they have Calypso Coral and Smoky Slate in them. And I'm going to, the backside's cool too. Notice I use that over here. And I'm going to add my seal to that, and I'm going to pop this on down. I didn't have to do anything. This just came out of the pile just the way it is, and it fits perfectly. Right? And I could look at this and say, well, maybe I wanted this. Or maybe I wanted this one. Like it gives you a way to kind of pick and choose what you're going to use. All right? Okay, so there's that. Then I'm going to take my Smoky Slate, and I need to cut this at 3.5 by 3.5. It's a little different than what we did on this one. But for this one, you want 3.5 by 3.5. Okay. And then I'm going to take another piece. Now I am matchy-matchy. So I'm going to go with the same pattern paper because I'm matchy-matchy. But you could use any of them, but I'm going to go with that one. And this time I'm going to go with a 3 by 3. So I'm going to cut it this way so I have a big piece left over because we're going to use that too. I'm going to go with 3. I'm going to save this right here. By 3. And then I am going to cut this in 1.5. Whoops. Put them together and flip it. And I'm going to do 1.5. So I'm cutting them into 1.5 by 1.5 squares. All right. Okay. That's all I need to cut for right now. Those are going to go on here. But before I do that, I want you to look at this one. I want to show you the difference. So this is just the way it comes out, right? I just cut them and I pop them down. All right, so there's one option. This takes the Calypso Coral and a piece of the sponge. Remember the sponges come round. You can also use these little buggers. And all these supplies lists will be at the end of this video. I'll post it after this shows up live on Facebook and YouTube. They're also included in membership where all the supplies live, so it's easy to find. I like this, but those work too. And I'm going to take this, get a little bit of ink, a little, not a huge, and I'm just going to flick the edges of my squares. And this is going to give it a little more definition and kind of help it pop off the page. I need to let it dry, so I'm going to do that. And I've already gotten ink on my white table, so I'm going to put that down for a minute. A little bit more. You see, you don't need much ink at all. It just takes a little. And just a little bit of inkiness. There is another way you could do it if you don't have the sponge or you don't want to do this. You could just bump it along the edge, and that gets it inky as well. So, come on, you can adjust. See, it gives you a little bit of ink. You can do that if you want, or you can do this. So it gives you a couple different looks, whatever tickles your fancy. The idea of doing this ink just makes it, one, it looks a little more artsy, like, ooh, aren't you cool? And two, it kind of helps it pop off the background. You can't go wrong with this, you can't. If you got too heavy-handed with the ink, it's not going to hurt anything. You just got inky. Put you down, close this up, because you'll make a mess. Oh, that's me. I'm the one that makes a mess. And now I'm going to take these guys. I'm going to put my seal on the back. Come on, seal. And it doesn't really matter where you put them. As far as, you know, was this in this corner before I cut it? It doesn't really matter. You could flip these over if you want to live dangerously and get patterns too. Told you I'm matchy-matchy, so not doing that. I'm going to show you the difference between the two in a minute, and you can decide what you like. What's cool about this is it really doesn't take a whole lot of thinking, not a whole lot of measuring. Once you cut it, you're good. But it looks like you've been artistic and fancy schmancy for days. So those are the two options. This is a little more pastel-y, a little more subtle. This is kind of cool. All right? Okay, so this card's like that. I want to put this one down too. And I'm just using, again, the basic white as my card base. And then I need to glue these guys down. Let's get some seal on these. Now I could also ink around the edge of the gray if I wanted to add a little something to that. Can never go wrong with ink. Unless, of course, you get it all over your hands and then you touch something with inky fingers. I don't know who would do that. Sometimes having a thing of baby wipes handy is helpful if you're getting carried away. When I first started working with stamps, this was like 5 years ago. Oh, maybe even longer than that. Maybe 5 years. When I started with Stampin' Up! The very first time I was here, it was really a big change for me. I'd been a Cricut person for so long, and you don't get inky when you're playing with Cricut. It's really mechanical. And so I didn't know what to do with that. So this goes like this, okay? Here we are. Whichever one you like. I'm going to put this down. I could use dimensionals. I think it's okay the way it is. And I'm going to put it a little more in the middle of the card. Not exactly. I'm leaving a little more room up here, but pretty much in the middle. All right. And this guy too. Okay, those guys are ready. Now I need Mr. Bear. Now Mr. Bear is the cutest, I think he's the cutest bear in the whole world. And I'm going to put him right here. So he's already cut out. He's going to go down. He's got dimensionals, but I'm going to foof him up a little because I have played with him in a few different places. Mr. Bear. So on this one that I inked up, I'm just going to put him down. He's going to kind of stand alone. Now I'm going to use the tag and welcome, and I want it to be kind of near his hand. So I got to think about when I place him where his hand and where the sign's going to be, even though I haven't done it. So he kind of looks at you like he's looking this way. I kind of want him to be over here, but I need room for the sign. So he's going to go over this way. All right. And then our welcome is going to go right here. Okay. So basically he's done. He could have some wink of Stella. That would help him kind of perk up a little. He could also have the teeny little black dots. Now he looks more, I think he looks a little bit more googly eye when you do it, but let me show you. You could put, get off of there. You could put the little tiny black dots like so. Personally, I like him just stamped, but it's an option. Okay? I think he looks scary. But some people want him to have a little bit more definition. Another idea, you could take your black marker and you could highlight just his eye. Where is my Stampin' Up! Marker? I don't see it. Well, I have this one. Fortunately, there's more black ones in my family. I've always got a black marker over here. And you could do that with his eyes and his nose. And I like that a little bit better. It kind of gives him a little more definition to his face, but it still makes it look subtle. Okay. Now you are here. Now we're ready to play with Mr. Bear again. So we're going to stamp him on a piece of basic white. And I'm using Smoky Slate. He's a good size stamp. So make sure he gets all inked up. What's cool about him is see the variety in it, the way it picks up ink differently. That's going to give you the different kind of shading. The stamp does that. I love it. So that's going to go here. No rocking, just solid pressure. And you get him. He'll dry and look even a little bit better than that. And then I'm going to take the welcome, and that's going to go up here. Here we are. Now, time to grab our die cut machine. He would fit in the mini die cut machine if you don't want to invest in this one. Although it doesn't, I mean, having this one is not all that big. It works really well. Remember, I use my Post-it notes to hold them in place. That's just a regular one, and then I have the Post-it flags that I use too, and that goes here. And then, I know I say the same thing about the cutting every time, and you probably are going to go, yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah, we know. I know you know, but sometimes not everyone knows. Whoops, wrong way, sorry. So I'm going to say it again. When you get your platforms out for your stamp emboss machine, it has the instructions right here. So there's 1, there's 2, here's 3, here's my die, and here's 3. All right, ready to go through right here. And just slide this on through. Sorry, this desk wiggles. Slide it on through. I'm not quite done yet though. So let's take this out. Here's Mr. Bear. Now I only use the Post-it notes when I have a stamped image that I want to be sure that it stays around. This time I'm going to cut the bear out of some Calypso Coral, not stamped, just the bear. I'm going to run him through. Okay, now it's time to play. So there's that bear. Put this back in the drawer. Close this up and move it over. It sits right there. Okay, so here's our bear. Here's our welcome. Now I would like him to go on top of the bear. So I could do it like that. And I could just slide that. Let me bring you in closer again. I could just slide that over to one side and get a pretty cool look. It looks good. But I could also, let's try and make this a little bit bigger, okay? All right, so we're gonna take our snips and we're gonna go from paw to armpit, okay? Now, if you do this and you think, I don't really like that, well, no worries. Hey, Becky, haven't seen you in forever. How are you? All right, so we're going to go from paw to armpit. And now when I put this down, I can slide this down a little. And I can get that. And then I can take this and put it, so then I get a little bit more shadow, more surrounding him. I can do one more if I really want more. I can slice this right down the middle to an ear. And I can slice this from a thigh over. It works better on an angle like that than it does if you, then I'm going to put my adhesive back here, than if you could just go straight up the middle, because then you're going to end up with a space right in the middle of the bear, and that may not be what you want. Okay, so now you just got to fiddle with it a little. So I'm going to put this down here, right? And see the separation comes under his paw. And then over here, same idea. I'm going to get my shadow. And it's okay because it ends up, whoopsie, come here. Come here, Mr. Bear. It ends up over by his thigh, right? We're not really studying this part of the bear. And then this part, and so now this looks like I had a full-on shadow for Mr. Bear, even though I didn't. Now there's a couple places where it looks a little funky, so I probably would take my snip and just kind of make this go away, right? And the same thing up here. I'm going to kind of go blend that a little more. Now, if you don't want to get this fussy, you could just do the first option, which was literally just slide it over to one side. But this kind of makes it go around the whole bear. And then we give him some dimensionals. He looks kind of weird on the back. I'm actually going to take this piece that's going to make me nuts tonight. And I'm going to kind of bring this in so that the little point doesn't show. Here. Doo-doo-doo. And this is going to let him kind of pop off the page a little bit more than his friend over there who didn't have this option. But I put him on the busy inked up page that draws your attention to that. Okay, so Mr. Bear is going to go like this. And you can see that he pops off the page a little bit more. I could do the same thing with my welcome. I could have cut that. Whoops. I could have cut that out. But now you've got two different looks all coming with this as our pinspiration. And now I have my welcome. And this welcome is going to go right here with a pearl over this. And since I only did one, I'm going to just move it over so I can show you both. So we have this one. And then we can take this and pop it over here so that you can see how he looks. You could also make your own. If you didn't want to do the die, you could just stamp welcome on here and trim it down. So, what do you think? Different bears, all following this. And let me grab the catalog so I can show you where this all came from. Is the catalog right here? It is. This was on page 27. This is the card that started out as my pinspiration. Becky, this is from Happy Forest Designer Series paper. There's one more thing I wanted to show you before we go on. So it was on 27. One more thing. If you take this piece of paper that we had left, there are little mushroom dies that actually fit the mushrooms. So you can cut those out too. And then you could pop those on to add a little more dimension to your card. All right. You are welcome. Alrighty, everybody. Well, I hope you had a great night tonight. Be sure to check out the membership, see if it's for you. If you're not sure and you just want to try 1 month, go ahead and try it. If you need more information, please reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to share anything I can to help you in your card making. I want you to use what you have and what you purchase. I don't want you to just collect it. So if you fell in love with this like I did, I want you to be able to use it as many times as you can. Remember, we've made a bunch of cards with this already, all totally different. Let me see if I can grab some to show you. The apple ones tend to be popping up here. Oh, I used them already. I don't have them. I sent them out already. Sorry. I sent them to friends, so I don't have them. But we've made a bunch.